Hey YouTube. So it's Monday morning and I just did an hour at the gym. I did 20 minutes on the rower. I did a few heavy sets of military press, shoulder press, standing. Ended up getting up to 60 kilos for multiple reps, followed by deadlifts, and then I called it a session. I then thought, alright, once I get home, I'll jog up the street, even just 500 meters. Um, and I think an important mentality is thinking about tomorrow as well. So not doing 2 hours today all out, and then just not feeling capable of doing tomorrow. Doing about an hour today, and then doing another hour tomorrow, followed by the next day. And then once I've done 5 days this week, that's 5 hours. When usually I do probably even just one session and then just feel spent and wanting to just avoid the gym. So trying to look at the long game and like, so to speak, as they say. And I've got another massage assessment in 3 weeks. Just uh, just scraped by my assessment this weekend that just passed. There's not so much an assessment in the next 3 weeks, but I need to demonstrate still, like to put confidence into the teacher's mind. It's been 6 months since my last assessment, which I didn't pass. I now have a super awesome teacher that's it's so good when you meet someone that's really nice. It seems like they've done so much work on themselves and have such a great perspective, and it really like rubs off on you. And those sort of people are rare. They're the people that they're fully responsible for their life. They lift others up. They encourage your growth, um, and you just feel fully okay in yourself in their presence, because you figure that I want to learn from this person. They really demonstrate someone that I want to be like, and like not in totality, but in a lot of their traits. And that's why leadership is so inspiring when you really meet a person that's a proper leader. It's awesome, just awesome. Um, and yeah, one more assessment, and then I'm into my remedial, which will be very interesting and will need a lot of focus. But focus is so good. Like yesterday, I was just right in the moment, like very committed to the process, and it was just great. Like, um, I feel like something about spirituality and being in the moment sort of philosophy is that, as an INTP, I've been in phases where I've spent time like thinking so much and putting myself in a rut without knowing, because the habit becomes so strong and the patterns become so strong in personality, in the way I live. And but it takes time and it takes small steps. And the fact that 1 hour of gym at a moderate to high intensity, not just high, for 2 hours over 5 days is far better, and will burn far more calories over the total of the week. It's so much better than one session of like 2 hours and just almost injured in a sense and not wanting to go back for another week. Shows that we need to look ahead and map out the 2 weeks in front of us, and instead of just burning through motivation in one day and then just being done with it, because the result won't come that you want from too much pride and doing too much in one go. So I think there's a lot of truths about pride comes before the fall and stuff like that, and you need to be measured in your life and look at things as a 7 day window and be like, right, how can I break this up so then the 7 days has a big influence, instead of losing that foresight and just running yourself into the ground in one day. Like this week, I'm going to do Uber Eats deliveries and support work. you know, part of the prideful side that probably ties into like the big intense workout is like, oh, do as many hours as possible on Monday. Like today's Monday, you know, work until 11 at night and start at 7 in the morning. And but then, okay, it's like, let's sit back and look at that. Okay, what would that be like tomorrow? Probably won't want to do it at all. Okay, so if I do, say, and maybe even, and then the next day after that, I'll just do 4 hours because I'm still resentful about the process. So it's like, okay, well, if I do 8 hours today, or maybe 6 to 8 or something like that, got a support session as well today. And then with a proper rest and good food and stuff, like, it is so much then easier to leverage that good grounded state to then do another good session. And then what does that look like over a week? That can be 6 hours a day over 7, and that's a whole full-time week. And I've been averaging 42 an hour overall on Uber Eats. So it shows that, you know, if it ends up being 30 hours, that's over $1,200, or how much is that? $1,600 for 40, plus my support work, you know, and that's, when you do that consistency, then that's over 6 figures a year. That's over 100,000 a year. Yeah, so it's easy to be prideful and just look at things in the short term. So I learned a big lesson this weekend at the massage course where, like, Saturday morning I had the assessment and it was really stressful and I was sweating like profusely. But that was also because of the hard work of the massage and the temperature of the room, so there's a few factors. And yeah, I just had to, like, when you just have to do something difficult and you don't feel fully confident, I have to use the self-talk of like, okay, if I make small errors, I'll just keep going and I'll learn as I go. And that's okay. Mistakes aren't bad. I'm going to learn a lot. And the teacher was super supportive, which is like super helpful, because they really help, like a good leader really helps you get through the stagnation and the doubt and everything, and know that it's all for the benefit of progression instead of perfection. That's what the teacher said. We're looking for progress, not perfection. I used to have a very sort of stern teacher, and you could only make like 2 little mistakes, or otherwise you're not competent. Whereas this teacher's like, just show us a couple of techniques per area on the body with a massage, and she even I like the mindset of like, she understands it's a student place and she'll help even during not the assessment itself, but in the clinics where the public understands, and it's a very supportive learning environment. And you know, it's like the gym as well. Like, you go there and you're looking at progress, not perfection. What is perfection anyway in the gym? So as I was driving home, I thought, now that I've done my workout, I've taken my medication for the day. You know, like exercises. In some ways, some people think that exercise is better than antidepressants. We can all get depressed and negative, and it's very normal. But we have tools, and yeah, getting through that very tough assessment and having such a beautiful feeling of relief and satisfaction from achieving the pass on the assessment, I was like, wow, this is why it's so good to get through challenging situations and out of our comfort zone. And I want to look for more things that, where I don't feel like I fully know what I'm doing, I've got to learn a lot. And I think that's important for your brain and like growth, like your mental health. And I think there's a big correlation between the comfort zone and you know, modern life's very comfortable, and it's easy to, I used to think like, oh yeah, I'll just take it easy and just coast along, and I'll just avoid, like, I'll be able to avoid challenges. And but then everything generally gets more stressful, because you're not exposing yourself to a higher baseline of stress. So when you do comfort zone things like massage assessment, and you got to perform and think right in the moment, and challenge yourself to memorize, to remember and do it right and everything, or you go to the gym and it challenges you. It's like your baseline stress is, your capacity for handling stress is higher during those times. So then life in general becomes more peaceful because your overall baseline of stress is then lower because you know you can handle higher stress. You then need a recovery after those sessions, get good food and sleep. Otherwise, some people can always be in stress, so they don't have balance. An important lesson I learned at a yoga retreat is the different modes of nature. We need times of fire, action, being on, very important. And yes, it is moral, like be busy and focus and do a lot of good work. But we need the quiet, we need the recovery, and to settle the nervous system and enjoy stillness, and not be in full control all the time. And trust that life has its own way a bit. A good verse from the Bible is be still and know that I'm God, which I like, is about letting go in part of your day and enjoying the quiet presence of the moment. And, I'm trying to do things for the higher good and not for my own ego. And that's what I think is huge. And it's, when we get in that good flow, it goes beyond sitting and thinking we're right and smart and whatever, and just being in the moment and being present. I think that is closer to a spiritual state than just overthinking everything. So I encourage you can be picking up a food delivery and dropping it off, and just doing it with a good heart and intention and gratitude. And it's all service, it's all work, and it all makes the system go around and makes the world go around. So every job has its place, and even if it's just deliveries, and that's okay. I've actually read a lot on ChatGPT about how Uber Eats is really good and suited for INTPs. I can get up and I can do my exercise and shower and have a coffee and maybe read for half an hour and get my head really good, and then go do some work and do a 4-hour block and go have some lunch and meditate and get myself in another, in a really good state again mentally, and then do some more, and then it could be 2 hours and then another break and then another 2 hours, and that's an 8-hour day. If you need a nap, you can have one, and you go out and do it again, and but support work's also big for me. But yeah, I highly encourage Uber Eats for INTPs if you need work and the area you live in suits it. And, I've covered quite a few things in this video, but I kind of like to just go like that, just be my authentic self in the moment and try and speak from a place that feels authentic and coming from my spirit and from that good place. And I always endeavor that something positive comes from these videos, and I can help someone today. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.